Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome to today's video. We are doing something that I've seen a couple other creators do. At the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, I filmed my whole makeup collection. It took 4 videos. I did like a face base, I did blush bronzer highlighter, I did lips, and I did eyeshadow palettes. And then I've seen a couple of my friends, Linda from Glitter Fallout did this. I saw Allie Dawson do it. I think I've seen Paige Corin do it, where you have these different categories that you're filming and uploading, but I've also seen them put it into one for a full marathon. And that is what we're gonna do today. I have taken all of my videos, I've kind of compressed them into one. So if you are looking for an hour and a half of something to do, if you're washing dishes, folding laundry, just hanging out at home, you need something to do, I am here for you. Here's my end of year 2023, beginning of 2024 makeup collection. And we'll see how it changes and grows. If you like marathon style like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, but grab a snack, grab some popcorn, or continue cleaning, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, I did zoom you in just a touch, and you'll have to forgive me if the lighting's not perfect. I'm filming in the evening, but let's go ahead and start with primers. That's what I consider my Auric Glow Lust to be. This is technically called a Radiant Luminizer. So this is a multi-purpose product. You can use this to mix it in with foundation to give you more of a glowy type of feel if you have a matte foundation. You can also use this either underneath your makeup as a primer like I like to do, or on top of your foundation base products, and you can use this as a subtle illuminizer or a subtle highlighter. I do have the shade Morganite. I honestly wish I had the smaller size of this. I don't think it's a bad product, but I think that it's a product that I kind of give myself extra steps when I'm using, you know what I mean? My favorite way to wear this is either to put it on the high points of my face underneath my foundation, or to mix it in with foundation, but a lot of times it's just an extra step for me. So Auric is the brand by Samantha Ravndal. She's an influencer here in the beauty space, and she came out with her brand Auric. She has several products out now, but there is a smaller size of this, and I honestly would recommend that one. Continuing on with primers, this is a product that I have repurchased. This is my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. I'm almost done with this container as well. I want to say that it's like somewhere down here. I will definitely repurchase this. I love it. So this product is basically multi-purpose because you can use it as a niacinamide serum, you can put it on as skincare, or you can use it how I use it as a primer. And so I'll put this all over my face. I do have dry skin. I probably should have started with that, but I do have dry skin, and so I will put this all over my face after I have already done my skincare and my SPF, and then I will let this soak into the skin, and I feel that it just brightens my skin, gives me some glow and luminosity, and it's like a big, tall drink of water, which is just what my skin needs. Another product similar to that one is this one by Glossier. This is fairly new to me. These are called the Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. This is another one where I feel like it can kind of be used as skincare or as a primer. And to be honest, I don't use this a ton. I was worried that this would kind of be the same product as my Glow Recipe Dewdrops. But this one, honestly, so it's called an oil serum hybrid, and I would say it's definitely very oily. I tend to use this after I've done my nighttime routine. I've moisturized my face. I'll take a pump of this and put it on top. This definitely gives you this glass skin effect. It's going to give you a very extreme glow. You are going to look very glassy. I don't know that you would love this if you're not a fan of the oil texture, maybe if you have oily skin, because it definitely has an oil texture to it. I honestly reach for my Glow Recipe more than this, but once my Glow Recipe is done, I feel like I'll get some more use out of this, and I'll kind of use it as a primer. But for now, it's more of like a night serum for me. Then I have 2 smoothing primers. My favorite is this one here from Tatcha. I have repurchased it time and time again. This is the Liquid Silk Canvas. I've used the solid, I've used the liquid. I tend to repurchase the liquid over and over. After I go in with my niacinamide dewdrops, I put a pump of this on my fingertips, and I'll just put it where I have like larger pores, on my cheeks, on my forehead lines, and it just kind of smooths out the skin. The liquid, I feel, is also pretty hydrating, not hydrating enough that I would use it on its own, but fairly hydrating. It works well for me, and it's a product that I will continue to repurchase. And then I did recently pick up the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I have not tried any of the putty primers, but when they came out with this one, I kind of feel like it's supposed to be a dupe for the Tatcha, so I did pick this one up. I like it well enough. I'll use it, you know, when my Tatcha's gone. I will definitely use this, but if I were to pick between the two, I would pick the Tatcha over the e.l.f. Let's go ahead and jump into foundations. This one is in my project pan. It's by Patrick Ta. This one is in the shade Light 1, and it's very bright and shiny. As you can see here, you can see my bright green shirt. I'm going to try not to blind you. So this right here has a little flap. I have used a ton of this stuff. I'm currently trying to use it up. I want to be able to use a foundation in 2023. So I'm trying to use it up. It does come with a powder. I don't use the powder at all, but I really do enjoy this foundation. I will say, if you're not a fan of like cream foundations, you probably would not like this product. It is one that I don't find sets down on my skin. I do definitely have to set it with powder. It will kind of transfer on the face. If I'm going to hug my husband, I've gotten makeup on him before. I like the way that it feels. It's more of a light coverage, I would say, but it feels nice on the skin, and it looks like my skin, but better. I would be willing to purchase this in the future. I don't know that I'm going to run out and repurchase it right away, but I could see myself purchasing this in the future. My holy grail that I have repurchased is this one right here. This is the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. You'll have to forgive me if it's not always in frame. I'm trying to find like the sweet spot here, but my autofocus is really loud. My camera's pretty old. So this is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have the shade 4. I used 4.25 in the past, but 4 is definitely my perfect shade. This is holy grail to me, okay? I absolutely love this foundation. If I had to get rid of all of my foundations and only keep one, this is the one that I would keep. I would say this has more coverage than the Patrick Ta. I would consider it probably a medium coverage. It does look very natural on the skin. It does give me like a luminous finish. It feels hydrating. It doesn't settle or get cakey, and this one sets down nicer. So definitely recommend that one. If you're looking for one in a similar family, a similar feel to the Giorgio Armani, but you want a little bit more coverage, I really do like this NARS foundation. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I'm in the shade L for DeVille. I really like this one. You will get a little bit more coverage than the Giorgio Armani. This one, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't feel heavy, but it's heavier than the Armani. I can kind of feel this on my skin, but it's light reflecting. So the way that the light hits your skin and then bounces off, you're not going to feel oily or greasy, but you are going to have a nice luminosity to your skin. Again, more of a medium buildable coverage. Really love that one. This one is not a favorite for me, but I don't feel like it's bad. If you do like a little bit more coverage, you may enjoy it. This is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I have the shade 5. I honestly don't reach for this one often. It does have a little bit more of like a medium to full coverage. I wouldn't say full, but medium to full coverage. I can feel it on my skin a little bit more. I don't think 5 is the perfect shade for me. It's good. It works well enough, but for whatever reason, I just don't find myself reaching for it. I don't think it's bad. It is going to give you a little bit more of, not a matte finish, but more mattified than the NARS, than the Patrick Ta, than the Giorgio Armani, which are more luminous. This is going to give you more of a satin finish. Then I have one that is the lightest coverage out of the bunch. This one is from Hourglass as well, and it is the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. I went back and forth on if I wanted to get this one. It is in the shade 5 also. This one's super light coverage, y'all. It's a skin tint, okay? I don't know what made me drawn to want to try this, but I was drawn to want to try it. And honestly, since trying it in the beginning, I have not found that I've reached for it very much since. I just prefer more of a light to medium coverage. I don't really want no makeup. This would be great for no makeup. If I'm gonna wear makeup, I want to look like I'm wearing makeup. You know what I mean? So I don't reach for this one often, but I don't think it's bad. It is just very light coverage. One of the heavier coverage foundations that I have is this one from ColourPop. It's the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I received this one in PR when I went to the Creators and Friends trip in Charleston, and I got the shade Light 45W. This is a great shade match for me, but this is a heavy foundation. Not super heavy, but heavier compared to my preference and compared to the other foundations in my collection. This one just, it sits a little heavier on the skin. I kind of have to make myself use this one. I haven't used it lately. I don't hate it, but I wouldn't call it hydrating. I don't know that I would wear this on my driest of days. Perhaps in the summer I would reach for it more. It's good if you want some coverage, but not a favorite of mine. I also wasn't in love with this one. This is the Kokie Cosmetics HD Skin Perfect Foundation. I filmed a video where I was trying my friend's favorite makeup products, and Kelly Gooch really raved about this foundation. I know she also likes the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, so I think her and I, although I think she has drier skin if I'm not mistaken, but I think we might have different preferences in foundation. I got the shade 20W. The shade match was great for me. Kelly and I are a similar shade. She helped me pick this shade out. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It definitely is going to give you like an HD finish. It's going to be a little bit more of a medium to full coverage. It's going to give you that blurring effect, that setting effect. It's not very dewy or luminous. It is going to set down and make you look airbrushed. It just sits a little heavier on me. Another more full coverage foundation. This one was sent to me from my friend Molly, Makeup Molly. She had several of these, offered to send me some. I have the shade Alexandria. It's the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Natural Radiance Foundation. This one I would say is full coverage. I typically will mix this one with my Auric Glow Lust to try and thin it out a little bit. It is a good shade match for me, but again, I just don't really reach for full coverage, and I feel like this is a little bit more of the fuller coverage side. Now, when we are talking about concealers, I have this color corrector here from Sigma. This is the Sigma Color Correcting Duo. I have the shade Light. You can see I have pan in both of these. Major pan in this one, pan in this one as well. I love to use this underneath my foundation. I just take my finger. I do have dark circles, y'all. I am 36. I'm a teacher. I'm a mom. I'm busy. I'm tired, okay? So I use this on my dark circles underneath my foundation, and then I will follow it up with my two concealers. These are the only two concealers that I have in my collection right now, and I use them at the same time because you can see the color difference is very stark here. So this is the Pat McGrath foundation. This is the Pat McGrath concealer. I picked up L5, but I should have gotten L4. I used L4 before, and I could use that one on its own. This one you can see is very dirty and very well loved. This is 115 Light Nude in the Milani. This one is a bit too light for me, so while I like the coverage of both of them, I mix them together because the Pat McGrath is a little bit deeper and the Milani is a little bit too light. They make the perfect shade match, but the reason why I like these is because I do have eczema underneath my eyes, and I do have fine lines and crinkles and wrinkles, and these don't settle into that. It's comfortable to wear. It doesn't settle into my crinkles, my wrinkles, all of that stuff, and I just overall enjoy the feel of it and the look of it. It's hydrating and it's dewy, but I can set it down with a powder. So really enjoy those. I'm going to go ahead and switch sides here. I do have a powder. This is the MAC powder. It is Light Plus in the mineralized skin finish. This is great if you want to set all over your face. Again, when I filmed that video asking my girlfriends their favorite makeup products, Amanda Makeup Just for Fun is the gal who I reached out to for powder because she has dry skin. She recommended this one. I think it is great when I am looking to set my face, which is not often that I'm looking to set all over my face, but this is great for that. However, I prefer loose powder underneath my eyes, and the two loose powders that I have in my collection right now is this one from Sigma. This is called the Soft Focus Setting Powder in Vanilla Bean. And my friend Angie sent this to me. This actually released around the time that I was having my son Quentin. And so Angie was kind enough to throw this in a basket for me. She had it sent over, and I really like this one. It's great for underneath the eyes because It does have like a soft focus, like a filter finish, but it's not thick and it's not heavy and it's not cakey on my dry under eyes. The other one that I have was a gift from Smags. This is the Givenchy. It's the Prism Libre in the shade 3. So it's multicolor, but it's more of that like pink kind of look. I like this one. I do like it underneath my eyes. I like the way that it looks, but it feels a little bit heavier than the Sigma. The Sigma feels a little bit lighter. This one feels a little bit heavier, but this one is going to give you a soft focus finish. It will brighten a little bit with that pink, and it's also going to give you a filtered effect. Now, my absolute favorite powder that I finished this year and I no longer have in my collection is actually from Hourglass. It's the Hourglass Veil, the translucent powder. I really, really like that one because it is super light, but sets my under eye concealer, which is all that I set. But these powders work great as well. And last but not least is setting spray. And y'all, Fix Plus is still the only setting spray that I love. I've gone through so many of these. I will use it to spray my face before makeup, after makeup, throughout the day, whenever I just feel I need a boost of hydration. Honestly, I don't know that this is going to lock in your makeup, okay? If you have oily skin, if you're looking for 12-hour wear, if you have a special event, I don't know that this is going to lock it in, but if you're like me and you have dry skin and you're trying to kind of make your makeup melt into your skin and look flawless, this is great for that. Okay, so here is a look at my blush, bronzer, and highlighter collection. We have bronzers, blushes, followed by highlighters. So I'm just going to run through. I'm going to show you what I have in each category. We will not be swatching or anything like this. We're just going to be taking a look at my collection. So let's dive in. This could very well be the oldest product in my collection. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight. I have had this for years, well before I had children. My best friend Smags got this for me. You can see you have the sculpt side right here, followed by the highlight. I love the sculpt side. You can see here, I mean, there is a large dip in it, but I think it's kind of time for it to be done. You can see the ridges. The product is not performing as well as it used to. This, sadly, you know, was my favorite, not really contour because it wasn't super cool tone, but like neutral bronzer that I would kind of use to sculpt my face out. I wasn't a huge fan of the highlight. I didn't use it a ton. It was much more subtle, so I prefer more of a blinding highlight, which is why I didn't love it, but I have loved this product for so long, and yeah, unfortunately, this is not a declutter, by the way, but unfortunately, I don't think this will be in my collection much longer. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, we will just go with my next Charlotte Tilbury product. This one is the Airbrush Bronzer in the shade 2 Medium. This is the matte bronzer. I love this thing. I use it all of the time, and I don't know if you can tell, it's starting to get a little bit of a dip in there, but yeah, there's no pan or anything, which honestly, I mean, it's so thin that I feel like there should be. I definitely have friends who have pan in this product, but sometimes when you have so many, it doesn't happen that quickly, but I really do enjoy this bronzer. I think that it's a good one. It's a little bit warmer than the Sculpt shade, but still works great for my fair skin. I also have this bronzer right here by Sigma. This is also their matte bronzer in the shade Medium. I really like this one. It's definitely very pigmented. I also feel like it pulls a little bit warm on me, so I use this as a bronzer shade, not really to contour, but just to kind of give some life to the cheeks. But I am definitely a fan of the Sigma powder products. You'll see a few more in here. I am an affiliate with Sigma. My code is just KBella if you ever want to try it out, but I definitely recommend the bronzer. This is a good one. One that I haven't used in a while that I should probably pull out here is the Christian Dior, the Dior Forever 05 Warm Bronze. This is the natural bronzer. This one I feel like was super popular, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. I don't know if you can tell, I have hard pan on here. And with this one I find that no matter what brush I use, whether or not I use it with a cream product, I still have hard pan, and I've heard that from several people. So this is not a favorite bronzer of mine. I feel like it looked nice on my skin, But I just feel like I have to work to build it up a little bit more, and the whole hard pan situation. This is another one. Again, this is not a declutter, okay? This is not a declutter, but I don't think this is going to be in my collection too much longer, if I'm just being perfectly honest. Then I have, this is my newest bronzer, the Pat McGrath. She just released her bronzer shades. I have the shade Nude Honey. I do really enjoy the Pat McGrath powder products. The blushes are maybe my absolute favorite. They're definitely some of my favorite. I wouldn't say that the bronzer is a tippy top favorite, but I do feel like the Nude Honey shade is the perfect shade for me. This is a matte bronzer. I do like the color that it gives to my skin, but I find that I'm reaching for my Charlotte Tilbury over this one. So I should pull this one out again and give it a little bit more love. I do have two cream bronzers. I am not a huge fan of cream products, which is why I only have two and I will not be purchasing anymore. This one is from Rare Beauty. You can see here, I mean, you can definitely twist it up, twist it down. This is it all the way down. You can see I still have a dome. I don't reach for this a ton. This is the shade Happy Soul. I don't like cream products. So I'm saying I don't reach for this a ton, but it's still in my collection, so that says something. This one and the NARS are still in my collection. The others have been decluttered. I even had the Charlotte Tilbury one and got rid of that. I will no longer purchase cream products because for me it just feels like an extra step, but I have this one and the NARS and I use them both. So I like them well enough to keep them and to use them. This is the NARS Laguna 02 bronzer. This one I feel like pulls a little bit warm on me. Lauren May Beauty talked about this one. She told me that it's a favorite for her. She uses the shade 01. I probably could have gone with 01, but it looked a little bit light and I do like a little bit of a deeper contour. But again, this is not a contour shade. I just said a deeper contour, but this is definitely a bronze. It pulls a little bit warm on me. It's an extra step because I go in with a cream and then a powder. But those are all of my bronzers. So now we're going to move into blushes. One of the blushes that I love and I can't get enough of is this Gucci blush. Bougie, I know, 05 Rosy Beige. I love this one. I think I got it last year and I have used it a ton since then. It's just a beautiful, like, this is my type of shade, a beautiful like rosy mauve shade. So really, really love this one. I also really love the Buxom. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Seychelles. That's a mouthful. Say that 10 times fast. I've had this one for a while. I picked it up during one of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sales, and it doesn't look like much in the pan, honestly, but on my skin, it has a satin glow to it, no specks of glitter, no like bright shimmer, but it has a subtle glow, and I have dry skin, so I really, really like that, and it is definitely a mauve shade with a ton of pigment. You would not expect that looking at it, but it does have a ton of pigment. This blush is not my favorite, and honestly I thought I decluttered it, but I guess I didn't. This is the Patrick Ta She's Blushing. The reason why it's not my favorite is because I'm not into creams, okay? I think the powder blush is great. It's definitely very pigmented. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. I need to reach into this again. I haven't tried it in a while. Patrick says that you should go in with the powder, follow it up with the cream. The cream does give it a little bit of a glossy look, but again, then I'm doing an extra step. So I typically just reach into the powder with that one. I'm going to try and save my Pat McGrath for last. So we have this Kaleidos blush here. I don't remember the name of this collection, but this is the shade Joyride. The names are not on the back, unfortunately. They came out with several blushes. I wanted to try them. I went with Joyride. It's definitely more of like a peachy nude shade, and this one does have a ton of pigment to it. I love the packaging, and it's super cute with a mirror in there. I also really enjoy this Laura Mercier blush in the shade Chai. This is one that I heard, I want to say it was Charlotte Holdcroft and Morgan Turner were talking about these blushes, so I finally got my hands on it. Chai is another one where it doesn't look like much, right? Like, it's pretty light. It's a matte, like it doesn't look like much, but on the cheeks, this is so beautiful. It gives me nice pigmentation. It has much more of like a nude maybe like a pinky nude type of shade, and it just makes my lips, it just makes my cheeks look nice and healthy. So I do really enjoy that one. Perhaps one of the older blushes in my collection is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Cheek to Chic in the shade Pillow Talk. I love this one. This one does have a sheen to it. I just mix the two colors together. I like to use this with like a big fat fluffy brush and just kind of swirl it all around and put it on my cheeks. So definitely enjoy that one. One of my newer blushes is this one right here from Dior. This is the one that went viral. It is their Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in 001 Pink. I honestly probably would not have gotten this one. Oh my gosh, I can't open it. I'm like struggling to open it here. I probably would not have gotten this one if I purchased it after they released their new shades. I probably would have tried one of their newer shades, but I got this beforehand. So it was this one or like the coral shade, and I went with the bright pink. And you know what? There is a time and place for it. I like it because it's different in my collection, but it is a cool tone pink shade. So I mean, it looks like bubblegum pink when I put it on my cheeks, but it's, you know, it's nice to have around. I have a couple Sigma blushes. This one right here is in Sunset Kiss. This one is more of almost like a peachy vibe to it. I like the Sigma blushes. I don't think they're my favorite. I like them. This one is in Berry Love. They are super pigmented, so again, I like to go in with a fluffy brush and just kind of tap into it. This one is more pink than the other one. Let's look at them side by side. So here you can see one is more of a peachy vibe, one is more of a pink vibe. They are both matte. I would like to try there's like a tiger something shade that has a sheen. I would like to try that. I do have one cream blush here. It's from Westman Atelier, super bougie. It's in the shade Coquette, or I don't know how you say it. Anyway, I did a video this year where I reached out to my girlfriends and I asked for their favorite product, and I asked Simbri from Simbri Thinks what her favorite blush was, and she said this one. It's a cream. I feel like when I used it, it worked out nicely and it was a beautiful color, but honestly, I probably need to try it again. And I mean, it was expensive, so there's that. Now I think we are on to the Pat McGrath. So I have some single blushes. This one is in Nymphette. This is the one that I had first. It's just a very light pink shade. This one I feel like gives me a little bit of a sheen. I don't know if it's marketed as a matte or not, but this one gives me a little bit of a sheen. It's like my perfect mauve shade. These are buildable, so you can go in with a light hand and have a light application, or kind of keep dipping back in and build it up, which is what I really like about it. The one that I've been using a ton lately is this one, Nude Venus 2. I think it was like a holiday collection. This one is similar. It gives me a nice sheen to the cheeks, but this one has a little bit more of a nude kind of undertone to it, whereas Nymphette was a little bit more pink. Then I have this trio right here. This is the Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun. So we're going to have Divine Rose, Desert Orchid, and Golden Nectar on the end. I am not a fan of the Golden Nectar, I will say that. I just utilize these two blushes. I really love this like rosy shade when I'm going for like a mauve look. This is a great nude shade, super duper pigmented. I like to use these with my my Sigma brush. It's this one right here, the Sigma F40 Large Angled Contour. I like to use that as my blush brush, so definitely reach into that one a ton. Like I said, not a huge fan of the Pat McGrath highlighters, but I do have a few, right? So this highlighter is Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude. This one's a bit deep for me, so here's the deal with this one. I want to say it came out for holiday 2 years ago, and it was like a $60 highlighter, and I was like, it's beautiful, but I'm not going to get it. Okay, sorry, my daughter walked in, so I don't know exactly where I stopped, but I think I was talking about how this is a $60 highlighter, but it went on sale for $30, so I was tempted to get it. It is a little bit deep for me. This one is not quite as glittery as like the one that's in that palette back there, which I don't like glitter, okay? I want a sheen. I want it to look like I'm glowing. I want it to be very pigmented, but I don't want it to be glittery. So this is not glittery, but it is a little bit deep for me. I do also have one right over here. This one works better for my skin tone. This is in Lunar Allure. This one is a little bit lighter, and again, this one does not have like the glitteriness that the one in my palette does. So I do really enjoy this one. It is lighter on me. When I reach for a Pat McGrath highlighter, this is the one I'm reaching for. Hey guys, I'm jumping in from a different day because I actually left out some palettes. I had some face palettes in a different area, so I thought I would jump in real quickly and show you these before we wrap up the video. I am also filming on a different day, and I've been a little under the weather. If I sound a little bit different, please forgive me. First up, I have this Benefit Cheek Stars Reunion Tour. I purchased this face palette. I don't typically purchase a ton of the face palettes from Benefit, but I purchased this for a couple reasons. One, I wanted Hoola back in my life, the Hoola bronzer. I've had that before and I really do enjoy it. But I also wanted the Dallas blush. I had the Dallas blush years ago. I ended up decluttering it and I regretted that decision. Now this Dallas I think has been reformulated. It's definitely not the same one that I had before, but I still like it well enough. I do use Georgia and Sugar Bomb. Those were new to me, but I also wanted to try the Cookie Highlighter. And so the combination of wanting 3 of these products out of this palette made me purchase it. Now, I often forget about this. I really do need to bring it out and use it because I feel like I haven't used it in a while, but it's a good one. My friend Emily from Emily's Makeup Bag sent me the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Blush. When Manny came out with his Nude Prism collection, I purchased the palette and I was torn about the blush. I said I wanted to try his blushes out, but I wasn't sure if I wanted the Mood Prism, which was a little bit more neutral, or the Nude Prism. Then my friend Emily reached out to me and said that she had this palette and she wasn't using it, so she sent it my way, which I thought was super duper sweet of her. I have reached into this, but I do find that I don't typically reach into face palettes a ton. I much prefer a single over a palette. However, I do really like this shade right here. I like this shade right here. Oftentimes I'll do a little mixing and matching, use one of the darker shades with one of the lighter shades on top, or mixing these two together. I haven't reached into this one a ton, but I'm happy to have this in my collection. Again, I don't reach for face palettes as often as I should. This Tarte palette was a holiday collection. This is the Precious Gems. I want to say maybe it was, I don't think it was last year's, maybe it was 2 years ago, but I had been wanting to try the Park Avenue Princess bronzer, so this bronzer is in here. It is a little bit more of a shimmery bronzer, and then it's been a while since I've tried the Tarte blushes, but I thought that it was nice to get like a Tarte blush palette in here. I really enjoyed this shade right here. I liked this one here. I used this one a bit. I didn't reach for these ones very often, but again, I need to pull this out. I have not used it in a while. A palette that I have gotten a ton of use out of is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. Smegs got this for me for Christmas or my birthday one year. I don't remember which, but I use this one a ton. The blushes are beautiful. I really like both of the blushes. I use this one more than this one, and I really do like this pinky highlight. I don't use the champagne highlight a ton. I do use it, but I much prefer the pinky highlight, which was surprising to me. I thought that I would like the more champagne one, but this is a beautiful palette that I have gotten a ton of use out of. Recently, Sigma sent me their Beauty and the Beast collection, which I was super shocked and excited about. And in the Beauty and the Beast collection was this face palette right here. Let me make sure I pull out this, look at this. Beautiful plastic insert, but this has 2 blushes and then a highlighter. The highlight is a tiny bit deep for me in Lumiere, but it still works. These blushes are beautiful. This one looks to be more matte, something sweet than Beauty Within, but they're both super duper pigmented, so really enjoying this palette. I was so shocked when I got the PR from Sigma and the Beauty and the Beast collection because I don't get a ton of their new releases. But the star of the show right here, this highlighter face duo is what made me realize that I was missing some palettes, because I filmed my video and then at the end I was watching my friend Heather Austin's like face collection, and she started with this palette here, which is her highlighter duo with Unearthly Cosmetics, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have that. Where is it? Why did I not have this in my video? And so thank you, Heather, for reminding me that I had palettes elsewhere. This one I actually keep out on display with her Resurgence palette on my bookshelf over this way, but these other palettes were in a drawer over here. The Beauty and the Beast was over here with Resurgence, but This highlighter duo is beautiful. I really like mixing these two shades together to get like a pinky type of highlight. Rebirth is stunning on my skin. If you have deep skin, I think Renewal would be beautiful on you. This highlighter is definitely a bam in your face highlighter. I love it so much, and I'm so proud of my friend Heather and Unearthly for creating this. Okay, I had to switch sides, so if the sound changed or anything, I apologize. But next up is my Rare Beauty. This is my newest highlighter to my collection. It is this one right here. Sorry while I try and get the focus correct. It's a little bit difficult being on this side of the camera for some reason. But I got the shade Mesmerize. So this is the like rose gold shade, and I wanted to try out their highlighters because they released last year, and a year later people are still talking about them. During the Sephora VIB sale, I decided to pick it up, and I wanted to get the rose gold shade just because I feel like I have so many of the champagne shades. I mean, so many people talk about the champagne shade being amazing, and I'm sure it is, but you know, I wanted to get something different. Speaking of champagne shades, I have this highlighter from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It's in the shade Iced, and it's a mini. I definitely recommend, if you are someone who has more than one highlighter in your collection, or if you plan to have more than one highlighter, I recommend getting a mini when you can. This definitely reminds me of the Becca Cosmetics formula. It is very blinding, no chunks of glitter. I don't reach for this one a ton, but I do enjoy having it in my collection. Then there's this one from REM Beauty. That video that I was talking about where I asked my friends to tell me their favorite makeup products, Angie told me that she really liked these REM highlighters. This is in the Miss Mercury shade. This one is maybe a little bit deeper than I would have liked, but it does give me a beautiful sheen on the face, very pigmented without being like chunks of glitter. So I appreciate that one. This is technically a highlighter. It's Flexitarian from ColourPop, but I don't use this to highlight my cheeks. I use it as an inner corner highlight, but I thought that I would throw it in here since it's in my collection and over here. So then I have this one from Unearthly Cosmetics. I got this one at the Creators and Friends Retreat in Charleston, and I had 4 of them, but I chose just to keep one, and this is the one Spellbinding, and I chose to keep this one because it's unique in my collection. So it does have a shift. It's a little green, a little purple. You know, I don't know that you can see much of anything there, but I decided to keep this one because it's different, it's fun. You never know when you're going to want like a different and fun highlighter in your collection. I don't really know why I keep it in the box. That's not really something that I do, but I do. The highlighter that I can't get enough of lately is this one from Sigma, and it's in the shade Twilight. This one, it's so unique. It's not champagne, it's not pink, it's not rose gold. You can see that I use it a ton. I have been reaching for it so much lately. It looks so good on my skin. I want to look like a vampire from Twilight, glowing from within, and I definitely do with this shade right here. And then I saved last but not least, perhaps the best for last, and it's the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair. I have used this one a ton. There is a pretty large dip in it, but no pan yet. This is a favorite for me. This is definitely, this one and the Sigma are my 2 top favorites, but I don't know that you can get this one anymore. I saw that Natasha Denona was having a sale, and then I don't see them on Sephora, so perhaps you can get it on her site. She does that from time to time where something is no longer available, but it's still on her site. Either way, it's beautiful. I love this shade. It's a favorite. Okay, so here is a look at my lip collection. We have lip liners, we have lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, some balmy type of things, and then we have lip glosses and liquid lipsticks over here. I don't know how much swatching I'm going to be doing today. I am feeling a bit under the weather, but I do want to go ahead and show you what I have in my collection. Let's go ahead and start with lip liner. I don't feel like I have a ton of lip liners, but looking at these, I definitely see a theme. Okay, so these are my ColourPop lip liners, and I probably will swatch lip liners just so that you can see. I did get these at the Creators and Friends Charleston trip, I believe. I've had the ColourPop lippy pencils before, but I got to try them again. So this one right here is Cool BFF. I had previously had it in its other packaging, and it's just a beautiful, like, cool tone shade, so I really enjoy having that in my collection. Beeper is one that I grabbed at the event because Samantha March has talked about Beeper for years, and it's just like a beautiful mauve shade. So that's definitely a Kelly type of shade. This one right here is in BFF. You know, I like the Cool BFF. Let's swatch BFF next to it. Did I need both of them? No, probably not, but this is the original BFF. You can see it is slightly warmer than the Cool BFF right there. I haven't used that one a ton, but it's cool to have in my collection. And then this one in Oh Snap. I really do enjoy Oh Snap. Again, it's just like a beautiful pinky type of shade, so not very different. Probably didn't need all four, but I enjoy having all four. I do have one Lunar Beauty lip liner. I broke my no buy for lip products. I did purchase Milk Tea when Manny came out with his lip liners. It's just another nude shade. I really like to use this with his lipstick that you will see momentarily. I do currently only have one MAC pencil in my collection. I had Whirl, and I used Whirl, I think I used it up. I had it for years, and it was definitely a go-to shade for me. But when I went back to MAC and purchased another lip liner, I got stripped down. So that's a horrible swatch there, but you can see it's more of like a neutral shade. And to be honest, it looks very similar to Milk Tea from Manny's brand, and I don't really use strip down. So this is not a declutter, it's a collection video, but I think I am going to ask a friend if they want that lip liner just because I never use it. So this one right here from Makeup Forever, it's technically called their Artist Pencil, and you can use it on like eyes and lips. I use this one, Endless Cacao, as a lip liner, like specifically. I don't use it on my eyes. I use it as a lip liner when I'm going in with like a lighter nude shade and I want kind of that ombre effect underneath. My friend Heather Austin got me onto this one from Juvia's Place. This is the shade So Rare, and I use it in a similar way. This one is a twist up in a similar way to the Endless Cacao, where I go in and kind of create an ombre effect, outlining my lips, shading it in a little bit. These two are very similar. So Rare seems to be a little bit warmer though, and the Endless Cacao is a little bit cooler. Recently, I purchased this one from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Raisin, and this one is another wood pencil, which I don't mind a wood pencil, but I like this one because it's not red, right? It's kind of like a berry, but it's a deep, rich berry shade, so I can use it with reds, but I can also use it with like the mauves that I have in my collection, so I really enjoy that one. Let me pull out my three from BK Beauty. I did have a fourth one that I gifted to Smegs for her to try out, but the three that I have here from BK Beauty, this one is in the shade Alter Ego. This is like their deep vampy shade. I like these. They're super creamy. You can see with the wooden ones, I kind of had to apply some pressure. With this one, I really did not have to apply too much pressure. These do not have a very fine point though. I like to use these more so to fill in. If you're really looking for something that's going to give you shape and definition, I don't know that these are the best for it. It's really good at filling in your lip. It will give you an outline, but just because of the nature of the tip, it's not a very sharp point, and you don't sharpen it, you just twist it up. So you can see here, it is a little bit more thick. This one is in the shade Sweet Pea, which honestly, I don't reach for this one a ton just because it is so light, but I do like the creaminess of their lip products. So I love that one. This is the one that I use the most. It's Warm Spice. I actually had Warm Spice, and then I used the majority of it, and it ended up falling out of the component. So BK Beauty was kind enough to send me another one because I use this one all of the time. Another lip liner that I absolutely love is this one from Natasha Denona. This was in the My Dream collection, the shade Natasha. Super creamy. Really, really love the formula. Of course, love this shade. Goes with everything. So one of my favorite lip liners, but you can tell here, my absolute favorite is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in Iconic Nude. When I do use this up, I will definitely purchase another one. That's one that I just use with everything. Like literally, I will use Iconic Nude with a red, I'll use it with a nude, I'll use it with a mauve, I'll use it under a gloss. Anytime I need a lip liner, Iconic Nude is just my go-to. So here you can see the swatches of all of my lip liners, and there's definitely a common theme here. Okay, so let's just go into these next items in the container that you saw me drag over. This is a balm. This is the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm. This is in the banana flavor. I don't really know if you could say shade. I mean, it's yellow, but it's in the Banana Kiss flavor. I like to use this to prep my lips. So oftentimes when I'm putting the rest of my makeup on, I'll put this on my lips and then rub it off before I go in with some kind of lip product because, you know, your girl does struggle with some dry lips here. I have this one that was actually sent to me by a friend. This is the Photo Glow Lip Balm from Naturium. This is just a balm, I believe. I haven't tried it yet. I've kept it in my collection. I did a declutter recently, and I decided to keep this in my collection. I don't need a ton of balms. I don't use a ton of balms, but I did keep that one around, so I do want to try it. The other balmy type thing that I have is from Lawless. This is called Pink Marshmallow. I have not used this one either, but again, it's just, you know, it's just like a balm, right? So something that I would use maybe to hydrate my lips as I'm doing the rest of my makeup to prepare for a lipstick. I do have this ColourPop Fresh Kiss Lip Cream. This is in the shade BB Spice. I had this sent to me by ColourPop when we were getting ready to go to the Creators and Friends Charleston retreat. ColourPop was one of the sponsors. They sent this over. I've been wanting to try their lip cream formula. I like it, so I have that in my collection. I also do have two of the Sigma Beauty liquid lip creams, maybe is what these are called, from the Beauty and the Beast collection. I kept two of them. Oh gosh, I can't see. Bonjour and Spellbound are the two that I kept. There was a third, but I gave it to Smags so that she could try it out. I really like the formula of these, and I'm glad that they're minis because I have so many lip products that, like, I never go through them, so I'm definitely a fan of a mini. This is my baby right here. This is from Tom Ford. Very fancy, very bougie. This is Blush Nude. I've talked about this before on my channel. I tried this years and years and years and years ago, and then it was discontinued for a while. It came back in stock. I got a hold of it. Smags and I both got a hold of it because she's the one that introduced me to it. She used hers all up. I have not. You can see. So I need to get working on this because these don't stay good for very long, I feel like. Let me smell it. It still smells fine. So I need to get working on this because this is an expensive, expensive lipstick. Recently, I went to the Creators and Friends holiday event and I was able to get a wonderful gift bag. Allie Glines sent over her new Ravi Beauty lip products, so I have all three shades here. I like the Dahlia shade. That's the one that's my favorite right now, but they're definitely very creamy. It's almost like a hybrid mixture of the pigment of a lipstick, but the feeling and the creaminess of a balm. So I've definitely been enjoying these. Okay, so we're just going to go through the lipsticks that are in this container here. I'll start with these ones. These are what I have left of my BK Beauty lipsticks. I did have the full collection, full line at one point in time, but I've really gotten to a spot where I just want makeup products that I'm actually using, and I love these lipsticks. I think they're a great formula. I think they're super creamy. I think they are comfortable on the lips. They're easy to put on with or without a lip liner, so The colors that I wasn't using and wasn't hoarding, I definitely shared with my friends. Okay, so this is the shade Inner Beauty. This was my favorite shade before they got some new shades. So Inner Beauty, love this one. My current new favorite is this one right here in Grace. Grace is a little bit more of a nude shade, not really the pinkiness to it, but a brown nude. It is a little bit deeper than some of the other nudes that I have in my collection, but I really, really love that one. This one right here is in Gratitude. Gratitude is like a wearable purple mauve shade. Love that one. It's great for the fall. Then we have this one right here, which is in Faith. And Faith is like your deep wine berry shade, but it's not as pigmented as it looks, right? So it looks like it's going to be super deep and dark. It almost gives me like Rebel vibes, right? Still super wearable. So again, I love that for the fall time. And then they're reds. This is the red in Confident, and to be honest, my daughter wears this all the time. She really, really loves this shade, and I mean, she's 4, so she only wears it when we're at home, but she loves this one. That's her favorite in Confident, and I actually surprisingly love Empower. I did not think that I was going to like this one just because it is an orange red, and I typically go for more of a blue-based red, but I actually do really like this one on me. So those are my BK Beauty lipsticks. So here we have my Lunar Beauty, my Full Fantasy, which was Lunar Beauty Laura Lee. We have the MAC Cosmetics Natasha Denona. Oh, I have another Natasha Denona. I should probably pull those out together and give beauty. I think the Lunar Beauty ones are super cool. I have this one right here in Icon. You press the button in the middle and it pops out. I like to mix this one with Milk Tea. I really like the details here on it. I hope you can see the details. I did just find out that I am able to like fix my autofocus while filming, so I'm going to try and do that as we work through here, but look at the detail on this lipstick. Like, absolutely beautiful. Really love the formula. This one is more of a matte formula. You get a lot of pigment. Definitely beautiful, beautiful shade. Love that one. I really fell in love with this one here. This is the Lunar Beauty Laura Lee collab, Full Fantasy. I got the shade Lanny. Oh, you press the button on the top. This was the one that Manny created, which was more of a pinky nude. The one that Laura created was more of a peachy nude. So definitely my type of shade here. Really, really love that one also. I used to have a whole collection of MAC cosmetic lipsticks. Now I only have 2. I have Blankety and Modesty. Modesty has been an OG fave forever. Blankety is a new fave, okay? Looks similar to all of the other lipsticks that you're going to see, okay? That's my favorite shade right there. I really like Blankety because it is a little bit more cool toned. Modesty has more of a sheen. This one is a new one. I've gone through several of these. It gives me like similar vibes, but it has that cream sheen effect to it. And it's not quite as cool toned as Blankety. Did I need both of them? No. But do I have both of them? Yes. Natasha Denona, I absolutely love the My Dream lipstick. This is in okay, just called the My Dream lipstick. I was going to say maybe it's in the shade Natasha, but I love this one. It gives me like a creamy, glossy effect on my lips. So again, same color family as all of the other ones. I guess we could do a swatch since we're here. But this one does have like a glossy texture to it, which I really love because I'm not typically a gloss girl. I don't like reaching for a gloss, but I definitely don't feel like I need one when I wear that lipstick. The other Natasha Denona lipstick in my collection is Beatrice. It's more of like a cool toned nude shade, and I feel like I have to be in the mood for this shade, but I like having it in my collection, and I really like the formula of Natasha Denona lipsticks. Then I have perhaps one of my favorite reds. This is called the Original Recipe. It's a matte lipstick. Oftentimes with reds, I want a liquid lipstick because I don't want it to budge, but I really do enjoy this one. It is a matte lipstick. Let's put it right here. It does not budge on my lips. It doesn't move around. You can see it's just like a beautiful, like a true red there. So definitely love this one. Okay, so then we have a Chanel, which was a gift from my husband, a couple Charlotte Tilbury's, a Rare Beauty, NARS, and a couple Pat McGraths. This one from Chanel was a gift from my husband. It's in a nude shade, 206. Again, you press the bottom. I have not used it yet. It's so beautiful. I really should use it. I don't know why I haven't. It's definitely a beautiful shade. He got it for me more so just because it's Chanel, but you know, Chanel 206. I have two Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. One I've had in my collection for a very long time, Kim KW. Berry Victoria is newer to me. Kim KW and I have been together for a while. I don't really know if she's still good, but I like her when I'm looking for a very, very light shade. If I want to do the ombre effect and use one of these like darker lip liners, I like to go in with Kim KW on top. Berry Victoria is like my perfect shade. Like literally my lips, but better, a little bit deeper than some of the others, but it looks really, really good on me. So I love both of those. I have to say I'm not in love with the Rare Beauty. I hear a lot of people say a lot of really good things about the Rare Beauty lipsticks. I'm not in love with them. I have the shade Worthy. I feel like it just, you know, it's a little bit drier of a formula. I like the shade, but it is a little bit tuggy on the lips. And then the component, a lot of times mine comes loose. So there's that. NARS, I have the NARS Audacious Lipstick in Barbara. I had wanted this for so long. It's just a beautiful nude shade. The NARS lipsticks are super duper pigmented, like super pigmented. One swipe, you get a lot. The Barbara shade is beautiful on me. It's like a great fall nude in my opinion. And then from Pat McGrath, I have this one, which is Nude Venus. This was one of the holiday collections. You see it has beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design. Like stunning, gorgeous. I don't love her lipsticks. I don't reach for them a ton. It definitely is a deeper shade on me. This was one of the Bridgerton collabs. This is in Nude Romantique 2. Again, I thought I was going to love it. It is more of a matte lipstick, but for some reason I just don't find myself reaching for these a ton. Okay, so these four I don't use a ton. I keep more as collector's items. This is in 09 from YSL. I keep it because I love the packaging, and I got this one when my husband and I were in Italy, I believe, maybe in Venice. These two Tom Fords, they were gifts. They're just super expensive. One was a gift from my friend Smags, one from my husband, and then this Makeup by Mario. I keep this one just specifically for the name. This one is in the shade Brielle, and Brielle is my daughter's name, so I keep this for her. I do like the shade, but I don't love the formula of this one, if I'm being honest. Okay, so these are the ones that I had in this candle jar over here. These are my liquid lipsticks and lip glosses. We're just going to run through them briefly. This right here, these ones are the collection between Odin's Eye and my friend Angie and Angelica Nyqvist. I think the packaging is stunning. I love the formula. I have a video where I swatched these, I used these. They're absolutely amazing. Love everything about them. So these are beautiful. I love to keep them on display. I have quite the Lunar Beauty collection these days also. I do have 3 of their lipsticks that were from his newest Siren Sunset collection. This one in Abyss, this one in Pink Pearl, and this one right here in Sailor. So I swatched all of these in that video that I did of his. And the other 2 I've had for a while. This is the liquid lipstick in Perfection and the gloss in Moon. I really like the formula. I love a liquid lipstick. I feel like they're comfortable to wear. The only thing is I feel like his liquid lipstick formula goes bad quickly. This is my 2nd or 3rd Perfection because I really love the color and the formula, but I feel like it goes bad quicker than some of the other lipsticks in my collection. I have a couple from Ofra. This is LOML, Hot Mess Mama MD, did a like a favorites kit with them. This one is Kaya, Allie Dawson. This one is Queen, Samantha March. So I have those in my collection. I also have this Unearthly Heather Austin Resurgence Gloss. I love this one. It tastes good. It smells good. I love that it's like a clear, sparkly gloss. It goes well with literally any shade. This one is from Give Beauty. It is in the shade Flannel. I like to mix this with the Raisin lip liner from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This was sent to me from Alter Ego. It's in the shade Vanity, and it took me a while to try this. I don't know why, but I was watching Sarah Better Off Red, and in one of her videos, she applied a liquid lipstick, and it was a red shade, and I loved it, and I looked, and it was this Alter Ego shade. And I don't know why it took me so long to try it out, because I really enjoyed that one. This is an Unearthly lipstick in Haunted. It's just like a beautiful fall shade. I have not tried this particular shade yet, but it's the Forget the Filler Lawless Beauty. This one is Lavender Sorbet. I really like the clear one. I don't know where my clear one went, but that one's Lavender Sorbet. And then I really, really do enjoy this ColourPop Lippy Stick. This is in the shade Oh Snap. I'll mix it with the Oh Snap lip liner, and honestly, I get compliments anytime I wear it. So it is a matte. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be a matte. It is a matte, but it's definitely a Kelly shade. Okay, so as you can see, we have quite a collection here. I have some more palettes off to this side and off to that side that you cannot see. So I have them, I think, arranged by brand. I have more eyeshadow palettes than I've ever had before. This is mostly a collection video, but there will also be a little bit of declutter happening. So why don't we go ahead and jump in? I think I'm just going to start from this side and work my way over. Okay, so we're going to start with Unearthly Cosmetics. This is a brand that was new to me this year. I did kick off my very first Unearthly palette with the Don't Be Jelly palette. This was gifted to me when I went to Charleston for the Creators and Friends retreat. It is a beautiful palette. If you want to hear more about it, check out my eyeshadow palette ranking for 2023. I am going to hold on to the majority of the palettes, this one being included. I really do love the shimmers. It's a brighter and bolder eyeshadow palette that I'm used to, but it definitely has some beautiful standout shimmers. Obviously, my favorite eyeshadow palette from Unearthly is this one right here. This is the Resurgence palette. My bestie Heather Austin collaborated with Unearthly this year to create this beautiful palette. I love, first of all, that it opens up like a book. I love the cardboard packaging. It feels very sturdy and luxe. Again, the standouts are the shimmers for me. I really love that Heather and Unearthly put this Cerambus shade in there. It makes it nice and comfortable for a neutral lover like myself, but this is just, it's a stunning palette, and I was so excited to get my hands on it this year. We will stick with indie, and we'll stick with my bestie Heather because she also got to do a collab with Adept Cosmetics. They are a brand that I heard of through her, and I know that she loves them so much. This palette is beautiful. Again, I just feel like the shimmers really do it for me with indie eyeshadows. I do love the mattes in here. You can tell. This is a loved palette, y'all. You can tell. It's absolutely stunning. And because of this palette with Heather, I went on to purchase my next Adept palette. Heather's palette led me to picking up this beauty. It is the Amunette palette. I know there was a lighter version and a deeper version. I got the lighter version. Again, this is a beautiful palette. It's reminding me that I need to pull it out again. I did create a few looks, but I mean, the shimmers are just absolutely gorgeous. Then we had Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Ghost Town USA palette. To save time, I'm not taking it out of the box, but I do have several looks using this. It's in my ranking video, and I really love this one. I feel like the Nomad shimmers have been hit or miss for me, but this was definitely a standout in 2023. Another Nomad palette that I absolutely love is this one here from Hudson Valley. This one was sent to me as part of their Starfish program, and it's just beautiful. I typically do love shimmers, and there are only 3 shimmers in here, but the mattes are amazing. This is a beautiful fall palette, and one that I really do love from Nomad. Now, I did say this is going to be a little bit of a declutter, and the reason why is I did pick up the Nomad Okavango Safari palette this year, and you know, I said that their shimmers are hit or miss for me, and these ones were a miss. I just felt like you know, I looked at it and it's a beautiful color story, right? It's a Kelly color story. I'm into the neutrals, the browns, the greens, absolutely beautiful. But for me, the shimmers just did not perform the way that I would like them to. So this one is actually going to be leaving my collection this year. I love me some Lunar Beauty. I did get to try Lunar Beauty, I think 2 years ago was the first time that I tried it. My friend Heather had been raving about it. This is the Siren Sunset palette. It released this year. It was their last release of 2023. And, you know, I kind of went back and forth on if I wanted to get it, but these like purples and the shimmers, they just really spoke to me, and it's a beautiful palette overall. Some of my favorites from Lunar Beauty. Lunar Beauty did collab with Laura Lee Los Angeles to create the Full Fantasy collection. This palette is beautiful. You have a mixture of neutrals with some pops of color in there. I just really do love this one. I enjoy the formula. I have not tried Laura Lee Los Angeles, but I have tried Lunar Beauty, and I really love the formula. I love the color story of this one. Then we have the Nude Prism palette. When I did try the Full Fantasy palette, I did a video where I kind of talked about the difference between Nude Prism and Full Fantasy, because I definitely understand that not everybody can purchase both of those palettes. And so if you're thinking about which one is right for you, definitely check out that video, because I love both of them. I'm going to keep both of them in my collection. I think they are just beautiful, beautiful palettes, and I really enjoy having them. We will move on to Huda Beauty. I don't have a ton from Huda Beauty. A couple Christmases ago, my husband purchased the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette for me as a gift. He went into Sephora. He had the Sephora employee look up my purchase history and see that this one had not been purchased. So I kind of have mixed reviews on the Huda Beauty formula. I feel like the mattes perform great, but again, it's the shimmers for me that I have difficulty with. But I will always keep this one in my collection since my husband got it for me. I did pick up the Huda Beauty Empowered, and honestly, okay, so we're going to make a decision here because I'm a little bit torn on this palette, right? Like, I want to love it. Again, the mattes are great. I want to love it. There has been so much positive feedback on it, but I really don't reach for this one at all. Again, I find the shimmers are difficult for me to work with, and I think I'm going to declutter this one. I think I'm going to sell this one on my Poshmark. The ones that I have purchased that I am decluttering, I will put on my Poshmark to see, you know, if there's anybody who would like to purchase it for a discount. So this will be on my Poshmark. It's going to be linked down below, but I think I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. It's beautiful, but I don't love the formula, so why am I holding on to it? This is not a new palette, but it was new to me, the ABH Soft Glam. I purchased this one because I was hoping that it would replace my Modern Renaissance and be like a go-to. I really love the Tempera shade. I hit pan on that in my Modern Renaissance palette. I do love the shimmers and the mattes. I use this more so as a companion palette, I would say, when I just need to dip into a few extra shades, but we're going to be keeping this one for sure. I think it's time to let my BK Beauty True Beauty eyeshadow palette go. This is not one that is around anymore. Of course, the brand BK Beauty is around. I love their brushes. I love their lipsticks, but the eyeshadow palette is not around any longer, and I felt like this was great if you really wanted a subtle look, or if you had more mature eyelids, you don't want such a blinding shimmer. I did create some beautiful looks with it, but it's no longer available, and I reached for other palettes over this one, so I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. I did talk about letting my Odin's Eye eyeshadow palettes go this year. I'm just not really reaching for singles, and these I felt were very underwhelming, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. Of course, not getting rid of the Hella palette. This is an Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist collab. Angie is a friend of mine. I did purchase this. This released kind of at the beginning of our friendship, and I wanted to support her. I think this palette is stunning. Again, I keep it in the original packaging because it is just so beautiful, but I love the way that Angie can do a mixture between neutrals and colorful shadows, so definitely keeping this one. She also released her 2 Halloween collection palettes, the Little Ghost palette and the Trick or Treat palette. I love both of these. Of course, I have looks with these. I think the quality in these Odin's Eye shimmers are absolutely amazing, and I reach for these palettes time and time again. My friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun, did collaborate with Odin's Eye as well to come up with the Flora Story palette. I got to meet Amanda for the first time in Charleston at the Creators and Friends Retreat, and we were at lunch one day. She was talking about her Flora Story palette. I went and ordered it right then and there, and I really do love it. I think it's just a Kelly color story. I have done some looks with this palette, and of course it's staying in my collection. I did purchase the Snow Dream palette, which was one of the Odin's Eye holiday palettes for this year. They had 2 holiday palettes last year. 2 this year. I picked up the Snow Dream. I have a recent video on it, and I do really enjoy the quality of the shimmers in here, so keeping this one. But you know what? I am going to go ahead and declutter my Jewels and Gems palette. When I filmed a video on this one, I did say that it just felt underwhelming to me. I expected more from it. It didn't perform or give me what I was looking for. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. But I mean, the packaging is beautiful. The color story is beautiful. Like it's beautiful, but it's not for me. So this is going to go on my Poshmark. Okay, so I did go ahead and scoot over my Sigma palettes because that's what we are going to take a look at next. I really enjoy these Sigma shadows, the ones that are the 7-pan eyeshadow palettes. I really love minis. I'm into minis. Sigma did send me these for. They are beautiful. Let me just show you real quickly. We have beautiful inserts. Here is the Enchanted palette. It gives you a mixture of like purples, a little bit of neutral. You can see. You can tell when my daughter's been in here, her little fingers. We also have the Warm Neutrals palette. If you are a neutral lover, you can get these in the larger size as well, but I really love the 7 pans. Again, you have like some pinkies and some warm neutral shades there. I was super excited for this one, the Sigma new Mod 7-pan. I went back and forth on purchasing the new mod, never ended up purchasing it, so I do really enjoy having the 7-pan palettes right there for me to use. And then the Sigma Cor de Rosa, I heard so many people raving about the Cor de Rosa, so I was super excited to get this one in my collection as well, and I will be keeping all of those. I am, of course, keeping my Disney Beauty and the Beast and Sigma collab. This released this year, and Sigma sent it to me. I was so excited to receive it in PR, but I do also think this is a great palette because, again, I love the way that we have neutrals and pops of color. I think they perform great. I really enjoy the Sigma quality, and the packaging is just stunning as well. So definitely keeping this one in my collection. I was also sent the Sigma Angela Bright collab, and I was super excited about that. I have mentioned that this is one that I don't know that I would have purchased when I first saw it, but then I did get it in PR, and now after having it, I do really enjoy it. I was intimidated by these 4 shades, but when you cover them up, you really do have like a beautiful neutral quad over here. I can find ways to use green and golds. This is beautiful for the fall, and then these accent colors are great. So I do find that this palette actually kind of replaced my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. When I want to set an eyeshadow primer, I'm using the base shade. I like to take Bright and put it kind of on the brow bone. I like to use Champagne Problems as an inner corner, and this has really become a go-to palette for me. Sigma also came out with these cute palettes here. There were 6 of them. I only have 5 in my collection now because I gave one to Smegs, but I'm keeping all of them. This one is Blueberry Parfait. I used this one recently when my college roommate got married in Dallas on New Year's. This is the palette that I was wearing. I also love the Bonbon if you are into a mauve moment. That one is beautiful. Tiramisu is my favorite. It's more of a cool toned, but it's easy to get like a nice, simple, quick look. Creme Brulee is beautiful. That gold is absolutely stunning. It's a little bit warmer than tiramisu. And then I do really love the Caramel Apple when you are looking for like a pop of green. Okay, so then we have ColourPop. This one is the ColourPop Hocus Pocus collab. This one was the one that started the whole ColourPop Hocus Pocus. This was the original palette. I do have it. I don't use it a ton, but I'm going to keep it. I love the packaging. I love the design. I love Hocus Pocus, and it's fun to reach into around Halloween time. It keeps good memories for me, so this is a nice one. I also have the Star Wars Mandalorian palette. I know this is not Baby Yoda, but I do call it the Baby Yoda palette. This is one that I would declutter if it weren't for my daughter. She loves this palette. She loves to play in it. She asks if it can be her palette. She's only 4, so I keep this one for her. I thought it was a great palette when I first got it. I do still think it's super cute. You can create a nice green look, but I wouldn't be keeping this one if it weren't for her. I've gone back and forth on the Bare Necessities because I do think that it's a great palette. It's in the packaging, so to save time, I'm not going to pull it out. I got this when I went to Charleston, and I think it's a great palette. I think the quality is great. I think the color story is great. It's a ton of neutrals, but I just don't reach for it very often. But I think for now, I'm going to keep it in my collection. However, I am going to declutter the other palette that I got there, the Heavy Petal palette. You can see these in my 2023 palette ranking. I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. This one will not be on my Poshmark because I did get it in PR. So this one I am going to gift to a friend. Natasha Denona, keeping my retro palette. This one is absolutely stunning. I go back and forth between retro being my favorite and the My Dream palette being my favorite. It just depends on the day which one I tell you I'm going to love more, but definitely love both of those. This year I did get the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude, and I think it's a beautiful palette. Don't get me wrong, Natasha Denona formula is my favorite. This one is a beautiful neutral color story, but I don't love it the way that I thought I was going to love it. It's great. I'm going to keep it. I enjoy it, but I don't love it the way I love the retro and the My Dream. And then I do have 3 minis here. This one is the Mini Starlit, which I'm pretty sure released last year in 2023, although I don't remember putting this in my ranking. I hope I put it in my ranking video, but love this one. Okay, and we're gonna throw it. Super cute. I also have this one, the Mini Retro palette. I picked this one up because so many people were raving about it, and again, I think it's cute. I think it's great. I don't reach for it as often as my larger palettes, but love that one. And then this one I did not have in my 2023 ranking, but I purchased it at the end of 2023, and it's the Mini My Dream. And of course, it's super cute, and I'm keeping this one. I decided to scoot the rest of my palettes over. This is the Alter Ego Coastal palette. This one was sent to me, and I think it's supposed to be inspired. Well, I don't think. I know it's supposed to be inspired by a Huda Beauty palette. I can't remember exactly which palette at the moment, but I am going to go ahead and give this to a friend. It was sent to me in PR. I did not purchase it. I thought the quality was pretty good. I created some fun looks with it, but I haven't reached for it since. And so really this year in 2024 going into it, I don't want to keep palettes that I'm not reaching for, so this is going to be a declutter. I was gifted the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette from Smags. This is a beautiful palette. I love this one. Obviously, I'm keeping it. I tried it out when it was new, and I loved it then, and I just never purchased it for myself. So this is a go-to when I'm not filming. I love to reach for this one. I do have my Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. This was a collab with Mel Thompson, who is unfortunately no longer with us. This is a beautiful palette, a beautiful colorful palette. The quality is amazing on it. I've had it for several years. I haven't noticed any issues. Fire Butts is one of my all-time favorite shades, and I actually need to reach into this one. I have not reached into this palette lately, and you know, that's the problem when you have so many palettes. You don't reach into them often enough, so I need to reach into this one. My husband did purchase this Dior palette for me. It's the Dior Backstage. It is in 004, the Rosewood Neutrals. This one is beautiful. He was like, I got this for you because of the embossing. And you know what? I actually need to use this, but it is so pretty. I feel like you could create some nice neutral looks with it. And of course, the embossing on it is beautiful as well. This Charlotte Tilbury quad is in Pillow Talk. This one was a gift from Smags. I'm going to keep this in my collection. I reach for it every now and then, not as often as I thought I would. I'm not in love with the formula of the Charlotte Tilbury palettes, but it's a cute one, so keeping this one. And speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, Smags also got me this one, which I do enjoy very much so. Smoky Eyes Are Forever. So I really enjoy this palette. I love that you have the different colors in here. You have some more like neutral shades. You have some greens, some copper, deep smoky eye. So I don't think you can get this one anymore, but I really do love it. My friend Angie and Yelika Nyquist collaborated with Kaleidos to come up with the Club Nebula palette. This one, my daughter had a little bit of an accident with one of the shadows, so it's a little crusty here, but definitely keeping this one to support my girl Angie. This is not one that I reach into too much anymore, but it's a beautiful palette, and I'm keeping it because it's a collab with one of my friends. We have the Vive Muse palette. I had the Muse and the original one, the I don't remember what it was called, but the original one. I had that one also. I like the Color Story of the Muse better. Again, I have so many palettes that I haven't reached into this one lately, but I really, really do love this one. She reformulated her shimmers. It's very matte heavy, but she reformulated her shimmers, and I'm more impressed with this formula. Ellie Dawson had a collab this year, and I wanted to support her. It's always exciting when a creator gets to collab and create something, a vision in their head, and bring it to life. So this beautiful fall-inspired palette will be staying in my collection as well. Last up, I have my 2 Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. This one I purchased. It's Moonlit Seduction. The packaging is stunning. This one was gifted to me. It is Divine Rose. It is also very stunning, and I will be keeping the both of these. So these are the palettes that I am decluttering. Not a ton. I told you it wasn't going to be a huge declutter, more so of a collection video. But these 2 were gifted to me in PR, so those will be going to friends and family around here. These were right here were all purchased. I think I'm just gonna, this will be hard to ship. I'm gonna give that one to friends and family also. But these 4 right here will be on my Poshmark if you're interested. Okay, so here are the palettes we are left with. They are all spread across my bed right here, but I hope that you enjoyed this collection video. Again, a little bit of a declutter, mostly a collection. This is what we are starting the year off with. My plan is to kind of curate it a little bit more. I know that there are going to be palettes coming into my collection, and I'm sure some of these may be moving out of my collection, but this is what we have so far. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I will be putting a marathon of all of my collection videos. I did at the end of 2023 go through, you know, all of my face products, my blushes, bronzers, highlighters, and I am ending it here with eyeshadow palettes. So that marathon video will be coming, but thank you so much for sticking with me. Make sure you're subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Bye.